Alright, so yesterday I was working on the Audi and I didn't get very far. Well, I kind of got far. The engine's out and I pulled the pan off, cleaned it up. I was going to put it on, but I didn't have any emery cloth. I also didn't have the correct tools with me. I needed these things to hold the pin for the crank is already in there. So Audis are kind of set up so you have a pin that goes in the crank, holds that top dead center, and then the same for the heads. It holds the cams on the heads. So I'm going to do this timing stuff right now. I'll clean everything up, put the new timing components on, because what I want to do, I have this, and then I want to weld the intercooler on the RX-7. I wanted to do it last night, ended up not having time to do it, but I want to take it to the airstrip attack tomorrow. I'm not going to actually drive in the event. I'm just going to go, me and Trevor are going to go just watch the airstrip attack. It'll just be nice to drive the FD instead of driving like the Cummins or my Ford or whatever. So I definitely want to take it up there. So if you're in Colorado Springs and at the airstrip attack, I should have the FD there, hopefully. I guess you'll see by the end of this video, because I'm going to weld the intercooler up tonight, which if everything works out, I'll have the intercooler welded, put it on tomorrow morning, drive up to the airstrip attack, and you know, be able to cruise the FD up to Colorado Springs and give it a little a weekend fun time. So, okay, so I just got off the phone with FCP Euro. They're very helpful, but I had like a kind of an issue with my tensioner that I got from them. Well, I guess it's not an issue with the tensioner I got from them. So this is a revision. So you can see that it has like a little spring in there, and instead of a hydraulic cylinder. The thing I had an issue with was that's spring, and I thought this was hydraulic, but obviously I think Volkswagen just put a hydraulic tensioner in there with no oil pressure. So you can see on the block right here, this is a bolt hole to hold it down. And right here, you can see where there used to be like an O-ring, but there's no oil feed on it. So I had to call and verify that this tensioner from them would fit on my car or on this engine, because you can see right here, there's where an O-ring should be. There's an oil feed hole for the hydraulic tensioner, and there's the tensioner. But the thing is it never has any oil pressure because they don't have it tapped on the block. So obviously I had some concerns about it. I didn't want to put this together and have an issue, but since I looked at it and I talked to them, it should work, and it's a revision, so it probably they did it because, you know, that tensioner was probably failing because there was no oil pressure supplied to it. All right, so I have all the timing stuff right here done. Now I'm moving on to the second section. The crank is already pinned in. I'll show you the little thing. Where's it at? Where are you? Little pin. Right here. Kind of hard to see, but right there. That is a hole in the block. There's a little plug that you take out, and that's a tool that pretty much pins in the crank. It screws in, and it holds the crank at top dead center. So these things right here don't matter. You just pretty much, you can do whatever you want with them, as far as I know, because the crank's locked. These are just idle. One thing you need to definitely align is the balance shaft, and a 5/16 drill bit fits perfectly down in the hole, and it locks it in place. So now I'm gonna put the other tensioner on and the chain. So I'm gonna go to the parts store really quick to grab some blue lock. So I got some blue thread locker, and now I should be good. So the crankshaft seal is smaller because it goes and it rides in there. You can see that there is a lip right here. So this, unlike the Cummins, doesn't come with like an install sleeve. So the Cummins came with like a nylon one, but I was thinking I'm probably gonna go to Walmart with the seal and get like a round nylon cup. So what I did was I went to the store, got a cup, And what this cup's going to do, I actually think I got the perfect cup. So if you're doing one of these Audis and you need a cup, there's the part number for it. So yeah, it like literally fits like right in the groove right there. It's like the same diameter. So all I'm going to do is, it's tapered, so the seal will start going on, and it'll push the rubber out as it goes down, so it could go over and down. And then once it goes down, the whole thing is you don't want it to tear, and then you want like a smooth surface. Okay, so I looked at the seal a little bit. It's actually pretty hard to see on it, but right there it says PTFE, and that's pretty much a Teflon seal. So this kind of seal, you can see in there, there's a little white edge, and that edge kind of creates like a dam almost. It like burns onto the shaft. So these seals, you want to make sure before you install a seal that you don't lubricate it if it doesn't need to be lubricated, because if this seal, if I would have lubricated it and then stuck it on, it would have never sealed correctly, because of the Teflon would have never actually did what it's supposed to do.
Hold me tight. I love the way you squeeze. I love the way you tease. I love the way you kiss goodnight. Baby, you're the one for me. Baby, you are meant for me. I'm madly in love with you. Baby, you're the one for me. Baby, you are meant for me. I'm madly in love with you. Baby, you're the one for me. Baby, you are meant for me. I'm madly in love with you. Baby, one for me. Baby, meant for me. I'm madly in love with you.
Okay, so the Audi engine is pretty much where I could get it for today. Oil pan's on, oil coolers sealed up, and the rear cover is on but not sealed. I still need to get that O-ring. Like I said before, I'll get that tomorrow when I go up to the airstrip. Just quite a bit of random stuff that happens when you put engines together. I mean, the biggest deal when putting something like this together is cleanliness and then cleaning everything. So what takes the longest is actually getting like all the old gasket material off, getting it cleaned, and all that stuff. And then like the seal, and I had to, if you don't have the right tools. So just stuff that almost nickels and dimes you and just takes your time and makes this longer than it should be. But the seal should go on, and then I should just need that O-ring, and I should be able to get at least one head on by Saturday. I'm not sure. Trevor's dad has a valve spring compressor, and I should be able to put the other head back together, and then maybe put it in the car by Sunday. I don't know. We'll see. So I don't know. I'm just glad it's out at the point it's at, and just hopefully nothing goes south on it, and I'd have to still put a thermostat on, the new valley cover gasket, and you know, I bought quite a few gaskets for it, but I guess I just forgot a few, because there are a lot of gaskets in this engine. And now the welding table's clean, so I could figure out how I'm going to chop this thing up. See, there's like a dent there, but that's okay. There's a dent on the other side. Looks like what I'm going to do is practically just cut this core out right here. Hopefully everything works out, because I mean, it's a dirty old intercooler that's all oily, and you know how welding aluminum, it really doesn't like dirty stuff. Yeah, man, it didn't even rub through the core. Like, it didn't rub through like 3 of them. Tight. Well, this thing is definitely getting the chop, and I mean, this is the one reason I don't do this, like chop intercoolers up, because it's such a pain to take cores out of it. I mean, if I was just gonna weld the plate in there and leave that on there, that'd be one thing, but actually cutting a core out is a pain. And when I worked at Cummins, we just usually braze them. We take the tanks off and like kill a core, we just braze it shut. But you know, those aren't removable tanks, and I could just cut them off. If I had a Sawzall and you figure out what happened in Sawzall, it would go a lot quicker.
Never, never let you go.
All right, so there is the not, you know, it wasn't losing boost. It's only rounded and like rubbed through like 4/4. But cut it off. Now I have this mess to deal with. I kind of like the size of the intercooler though, so I almost want to like have one made that size now. But all I really need to do, I'm going to grind around these pipes right here to make it like nice and smooth again, because it's like has crappy welds on it. Kind of grind this so it's nice and flat. Same thing over here, grind all that stuff down, and then I'll just kind of make a little piece of I don't even know if we have any spare aluminum. I might just have to cut like a pipe and flatten it out a little bit and then weld it on. I think that'll work. Okay, so I pretty much have this thing grinded. I cleaned it out a little bit. The welds on this intercooler aren't that great, so hopefully my welds look a little bit better than the welds on here. And then what I'm probably going to do is find like a piece of 3-inch intercooler aluminum tube and just kind of bend it to fit that, and then kind of hammer it down right there and weld it. I think it should be all right. I'll do that on both sides, and maybe this thing will hold boost now. Done or what?
Yeah. Hammer it some more.
Perfect, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was.
No, it says it's burning the
Oil off. Is that it? Did you finish the welds?
Yeah, they're not pretty, but this thing was oily. All right, so the intercooler is not pretty, but it should be sealed and should hold boost. I mean, I had to I kind of ghettoed this thing just to get it to work. I used some intercooler pipe. I cut it in half and cut 4 like cores out of this intercooler, and then kind of just made it work. One thing is this thing was so oily on the inside. Every time I try to start welding, it literally started like sooting up and would just like instantly contaminate the welds. So not pretty welds, but it should hold boost. I should actually be able to rip the car around. It won't be so low to the ground because it is, you know, 4 cores are not on the intercooler anymore. It's a lot smaller intercooler than it was before, and everything. So I'm glad that's done. I'm glad the Audi's getting done. And this is my friend Nate, and he did some recording, didn't you, Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been hanging out, watching me weld and all that stuff. So that's the end of this video. I'm gonna throw this intercooler on the FD. I was gonna say tomorrow, but it's actually today. It's like 3, what time is it?
It's like 1 something.
It's like 1:35. 1:35. So today is the airstrip attack in Colorado Springs. I'm gonna try to take the FD up there and just cruise it up there. I'm not gonna actually race it because there's no, I never got a good alignment on it and stuff like that. So if you're up there, come say what up. Me and Trevor will be up there. And if you like the video, subscribe, comment below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.